You know what's funny? I always thought the end of a marriage came with yelling, doors slamming, someone cheating, a big dramatic moment like you see in the movies. But that's not how mine ended. No, mine ended on a Tuesday morning with a cup of lukewarm coffee and 7 words I'll never forget. I'm celebrating alone this year. Just me. That's what she said. No emotion, no hesitation. Just straight to my face like she was reading the weather report. Let me back up. Her name's Kelsey. We were married for 9 years. 9 years of doing my best to build a stable home, working my ass off in construction, pouring my energy into being a reliable husband. I'm not perfect, not even close, but I was present. I showed up. I paid the bills. I brought flowers on Fridays. I remembered the small things, and I never once let our anniversary pass without making a big deal of it. Ever. The year before, I took her to Asheville, rented a cabin, cooked for her, even booked a massage for her because she'd been complaining about back pain. I remember sitting in the hot tub that night, looking at her and thinking I'd do this for the rest of my life. But something changed over the past year, and not all at once. It was like slow erosion, the kind you don't see until half the cliff is gone. First, she stopped texting during the day. Then, she stopped asking me how work was. Eventually, even sitting next to her on the couch felt like I was intruding on her personal space. We barely touched anymore. No hugs when I got home. No hand on my chest while we fell asleep. Nothing. Just cold. And every time I brought it up, she brushed it off. I'm just tired. It's just stress. Stop overthinking everything. I started believing maybe it was all in my head. Maybe I was the one clinging too hard. But I still held on to the idea that our anniversary, that special day we always celebrated, would be the reset button. You know? Something to bring us back to center. So I planned something small but meaningful. I booked a reservation at the place where we had our first anniversary dinner, this Italian spot she used to love. I got her a new pair of earrings, not crazy expensive, just elegant. I even wrote her a card, poured my heart into it like we were still dating. That morning, I was getting dressed for work, and I said, "Hey, just a reminder, tonight at 7. You'll love it." She was in the kitchen, still in her robe, pouring coffee. Didn't even look at me. She just said, "I'm celebrating alone this year." Just me. My stomach dropped. I froze right there, one shoe in hand, still trying to process what she said. Wait, what? She finally looked at me, and not with anger, not even indifference. Worse, she looked at me like I was a stranger inconveniencing her day. I booked a spa day and a solo dinner. I want space. I don't want to pretend we're something we're not. That was her explanation. On our wedding anniversary. Like she was doing something healthy, like this was some empowering solo journey she was going on. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the floor, trying to understand where it all went wrong. And the truth is, I already knew. This woman stopped loving me months ago, maybe even years. But I was too focused on fixing things to notice she wasn't even trying anymore. I sat with that all day. At work, I didn't say much. I went through the motions, did my install, smile when I had to. But in my head, I was replaying every sign I missed. The way she started locking her phone. The random weekend trips with the girls. The coldness in her eyes when I said, "I love you," and she just nodded. The worst part? I never cheated. Never lied. Never yelled. I was solid, boring maybe, but solid. And now I was disposable. When I got home, the house was quiet. She was already gone. There was a note on the counter that said, "Don't wait up. I'll be home late. No, happy anniversary. No, thank you for everything you do." Just silence. I sat in the living room, still dressed for the dinner we never had, and opened the card I'd written for her. It said, 9 years later, I still choose you. Even when things get hard, even when we drift, I'm still here because I believe in us. I tore it up. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I didn't call a friend. I just sat in silence and made a decision. This would be the last anniversary she ever spent without me, because I was never giving her another one. If she wanted space, she could have the rest of her life to enjoy it. Alone. I didn't know how I'd do it yet, but the switch had flipped. I was done chasing, done fixing, done waiting for a woman who saw me as an obligation instead of a partner. This was no longer about saving a marriage. It was about saving myself. After that night, the night she told me she was celebrating our wedding anniversary alone, something shifted in me. Not just emotionally, mentally. It was like a fog lifted. For months, maybe even years, I had been stuck in this mental loop, trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, why she seemed so cold, how I could fix us. I kept hoping that if I just did a little more, worked harder, planned more dates, was more patient, things would snap back into place. But that line she dropped, I'm celebrating alone this year. It was like a hammer breaking the glass I've been staring through. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to fight for someone who quit on me. And I wasn't going to scream, beg, or throw a tantrum. I was going to walk away like a man who knew his value. But first, I had to prepare. And the thing about me is, when I get quiet, that's when you should worry. Because I wasn't sulking. I was planning. And every day that passed, while she thought I was just getting over it, I was mapping out my exit with surgical precision. Step 1. Finances first. I started by securing everything with my name on it. I pulled up every joint account, the checking, the savings, even the damn Netflix subscription, and slowly began removing her from each one. I didn't do it all at once. That'd raise red flags. I did it gradually, like I was reorganizing. I got a new debit card and had it shipped to my office, not home. I changed the passwords on all my accounts. Credit, bills, utilities, PayPal, Amazon, anything that could be used or drained without me knowing. She didn't even notice. She was too busy finding herself and planning her next solo yoga retreat with her friends in Sedona. Meanwhile, I was setting myself free. Step 2. Proof and paperwork. I bought a burner phone, not to spy, to document every cold interaction, every emotional rejection, every time she acted like I didn't exist unless she needed something. I kept a log, date, time, what was said, how she reacted, not out of spite, but because if things went legal, I didn't want to be caught unprepared. I also met with a divorce lawyer, quietly, told him everything. He listened, nodded, and said something that hit me hard. You've already been alone in this marriage. Now it's just about making it official. He helped me draft everything, asset division, lease removal, even a checklist of what to say when the moment came. It wasn't dramatic. It was clean, strategic, and final. Step 3, the exit blueprint. Now came the part that felt almost surreal. Planning the moment I would walk away, without warning, without guilt, without regret. I scouted a small rental unit across town. Nothing fancy, but quiet, clean, and mine. Signed the lease. Paid the deposit. Moved some essentials and little by little, tools, clothes, laptop. She never noticed. She was too caught up in her self-care era. At home, I acted normal. I still made dinner. Still asked how her day was, even when she rolled her eyes. Still kissed her forehead when I left for work, even though she barely reacted. To her, I was just the quiet husband adjusting to her journey of independence. To me, I was executing the cleanest, coldest exit of my life. The last test. About a week before I planned to leave, I decided to do something just to be sure she had no love left in her heart for me. I brought home her favorite dessert, red velvet cake from that little bakery downtown. Set it on the table with a note that said, "Just because, I hope your day was good." She walked in, saw it, read the note, and said, "You know I'm watching my sugar. This feels manipulative," and walked away. That was it. That was the last piece of doubt that needed to die inside me. I wasn't even mad. I was just done. The final day. The morning I left, it was sunny. Birds were out. It was weirdly peaceful. She was in the bathroom, curling her hair, probably getting ready for another girl's brunch. I got dressed like I was heading to work, boots, hoodie, backpack. I looked her way and said, "Have a good day." She didn't even turn around. Just said, "You too," with that bored tone she perfected. I walked out, got in my truck, and I didn't look back. I drove straight to the new apartment, pulled out my phone, and hit send on a scheduled email. It contained a digital letter explaining everything, respectfully but clearly. Contact information from my lawyer. A statement saying she had 30 days to move out before the lease expired. I had already paid it off. And one final line. "You celebrated alone. Now you'll live alone. I wish you the best." Then I blocked her on everything. Phone, email, socials, complete silence. The peace after the storm. People think revenge is loud, but you know what real revenge looks like? A man walking away without bitterness, without chaos, just peace. Now I live alone. I cook for myself. I don't hear complaints every day. No more side eyes. No more I'm not in the mood. No more being treated like a paycheck with a heartbeat. I still believe in love, but not the kind where you shrink yourself just to keep the peace. Not the kind where one person checks out and expects the other to keep performing. So, if she wanted freedom, I gave it to her. Not as a punishment, but as a gift. The first time Kelsey tried to contact me after I left, I was sitting on the couch in my new apartment. No TV on, no music playing. Just me, a cup of black coffee, and the hum of my air conditioning. Her name popped up on the screen. Missed call, Kelsey, 8:42 a.m. Then again at 9:17. Then at 10:03. By noon, she had called 6 times and sent 4 messages. Where are you? Are you okay? What's going on? This isn't funny. The panic in her tone grew with every message. But to me, it wasn't panic-worthy. It was predictable. She thought I was bluffing. That's the thing. People like her get so used to the idea that you'll always be there, no matter how they treat you, that the thought of you actually being gone never seems real, until it is. She got home that day to a half-empty apartment. Closet, 70% cleared. Toolbox gone. My watch box gone. Bookshelves, only hers left. Bathroom, no razors, no cologne, no presence of me. There was just a folded envelope on the counter. My handwriting, her name on the front. Inside it read, "You asked to celebrate alone. Now you get to live alone. I'm not punishing you. I'm just choosing myself. Don't reach out. There's nothing left to discuss." I didn't hear anything from her the rest of that night. Then, around 2:30 a.m., I got a voicemail. I never listened to it, but I remember the transcription preview on my phone started with, "I can't believe you're really doing this." That was enough for me. What she didn't expect. The thing is, when I left, I didn't make a scene. I didn't expose her online. I didn't call her names or throw her under the bus. I just removed myself. And that was what broke her. Because for people like her, who thrive on control, on having the last word, on being chased, nothing is more devastating than silence. She tried everything in the weeks that followed. First came the anger. So you're just running away like a coward? All because I needed one day to myself? You're pathetic. Then the guilt tactics. You're really going to throw away 9 years? You abandoned me without warning. You're heartless. I always knew you had a fragile ego. But when none of that worked, the tone changed. The realization. 3 weeks later, I got a message from a mutual friend, Cara. She said, "Hey, I saw Kelsey. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. She was crying at brunch. Asked if I'd heard from you. I think it's hitting her now." I didn't reply. Not because I was trying to play a game, but because I had already made my decision. I wasn't leaving space for her to come back. I was creating a new life where she didn't fit. 2 days later, she showed up at my new place. I still don't know how she got the address. Maybe Cara gave it to her. Maybe she found it through some mail that slipped through. I opened the door and saw her standing there. Hair tied up, no makeup, eyes swollen. She looked like a stranger. Or maybe for the first time, I was seeing her without the fog of denial. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Just tears. And she whispered, "Why didn't you fight for me?" That question, man, it stuck with me. Because for years, that's all I did. I fought when she withdrew. I fought when she stopped being affectionate. I fought when she said she needed space. I fought alone. So I answered her honestly. I fought for you every single day while you pushed me away. I planned our anniversary while you planned your exit. You made your decision. Kelsey, I'm just living with it. She cried harder. Tried to walk past me into the apartment. I blocked the door. Not aggressively, just firmly. We don't live together anymore. I don't belong to you. You don't belong to me. This is over. She begged. Apologized. Promised she'd change. But apologies don't resurrect dead effort. They don't reverse emotional neglect. And they damn sure don't make up for the humiliation of being told on your wedding anniversary that your presence is not wanted. So I told her the truth calmly. You celebrated alone. That was your choice. And now I'm living alone. That's mine. She screamed at that point. Called me cold. Said I was abandoning her. But it wasn't abandonment. It was self-respect. And the second I closed that door, I felt a peace I hadn't felt in years. Her collapse, my peace. The next few months were quiet for me. But I heard from people here and there that she was struggling to pay rent, that she posted cryptic things on Instagram about being betrayed, that she missed the stability, that she wished she hadn't said what she said. And maybe she really did. But the thing is, regret doesn't mean love. It usually means loss of comfort. I never answered her again, never unblocked her, never responded to the email she sent 6 months later with the subject line, "I still love you," because I had already grieved the loss of us while we were still together. And when I walked away, I didn't do it for attention or revenge. I did it because no one deserves to feel invisible in their own home. Final thoughts. If you're a man reading this, and you're being pushed aside, ignored, or treated like a financial asset instead of a partner, listen closely. Your silence can be louder than your words. Your absence can be more powerful than your presence. And your peace is worth more than any apology that comes too late. She said she wanted to celebrate alone, so I gave her what she asked for, and I made it permanent, because the moment she chose herself over us, I realized it was time I did the same.